Oh. All right, it is 7 o'clock. I'll call this meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Councilmember Pershman,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Welsh. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, there's nobody here this evening for community comment. We don't have any presentations and reports, nor do we have any public hearings. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
A motion by Councilmember Pershman
I'll second.
and a second by Councilmember Mock. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, moving right along to business items. 8.1, urban chickens. Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm gonna get the screen going, maybe. Okay, I'm just gonna start talking if that's okay.
Yep.
We'll bring up the memo in the presentation. So the city council has seen this before, first at your July 1st meeting, and then you pitched it over to the planning commission to do some work on it, which they did, which was great. So the planning commission took a look at it at their July 18th meeting and then again at their August 15th meeting. The planning commission held the required public hearing since it's an ordinance change at their August 15th meeting. No members of the public were there. We didn't receive any comment at a staff level during the meeting, et cetera. And the planning commission forwarded a recommendation to the city council to approve the urban chicken ordinance on a 5-0 vote. They did make a few changes, mostly editorial, and then there was a provision added to the ordinance that anything in the historic district would also require HPC approval. So making that clear that if you're downtown, you'll need to do that additional step for the ordinance for chickens. So happy to talk through specific details of the ordinance. We can go through any sections that you'd like additional information or to provide feedback on.
Questions, comments, or motion?
I have a couple.
Go ahead.
So there, I have to find it here. Inspections and enforcement.
Tell us
Under
what
that.
page you're on, so we can-
It's section 6235. It's saying actual page number 4.
Getting there. There it is.
And here it talks about entering to inspect. Maybe it was under violations. Sorry, I didn't have it right out here. It talks about entering the property, that they'll, within a certain amount of time or within a reasonable, it says reasonable time. Within a reasonable time, that they'll come to inspect. Does this mean that they will be notifying that they'll be entering someone's property? Because I do have some issues with personal property rights of just coming onto someone's property and inspecting things.
We always would. We wouldn't enter someone's property without letting them know first.
Okay, okay. I saw that the HPC was in there. I feel two ways about it. I think that's great, and I also think if you want to look back at historic pictures of what 1800s chicken coops look like, you can be opening two sides of that. You know what? We'll see what happens. The only other question that I had, when we were looking at the height of the structure, so if you're looking at, if what I looked up was correct, for any accessory structure in the city of Carver, 17 feet is the maximum height.
Correct.
Here we have at 6 feet, and I'm thinking, I'm 5'6". You know, what if a man who is 6 feet tall has a chicken coop? He is now not even going to be able to stand upright. I would like to move that up to 7 feet, just considering height, you know, general height, I guess, of kind of average folks. So
Sure.
I would like the council to consider changing that to 7 feet.
Any objections?
No objections.
No,
You look like you have a thought.
no, I was
Okay.
just thinking of scraping my head on the top.
Top of a chicken coop. I was thinking I didn't know chickens could fly that high. Oh.
We gotta get in there to clean it, so you gotta get in there somehow, so, okay.
Just
Anything
to,
else?
just to clarify on that, is it just for the coops or is it for the runs too? I know both. Right now there's a height requirement of 6 feet for both.
I would
Matching
just,
coops.
both of them, yeah, so that
Just
they
wanna make
match. I think, because
You got-
usually you're gonna come through your run to get to your coop, so I think 7 feet for both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else, Christy?
We have 6 hens in here. I'd be happy to go up to 8. I think if people are, feeding families and having, 2 eggs for breakfast, I guess, for a family of 4, I would be happy to see it at 8 hens.
That I'd like to keep at 6. The planning commission talked about that.
And what did they talk about? Did you?
Why it was 6 and how that number
Right.
goes and how it plays into the square footage.
I understand the calculations that will come.
You asked what they-
Yeah, what did,
Yeah.
but were you at the meeting too?
Well, I was at the July meeting, but the
Yep.
meetings are also broadcast.
Sure.
And recorded, so
Yes.
I watched both meetings.
Okay, no, I was just asking if you had any specific feedback that you could remember from seeing it.
They were good with 5, or I'm sorry, 6.
6, yeah.
Okay, but there was reasons. I was just curious if you could recall any of the reasons they had.
They asked us how we got to 6.
6. Yeah, actually, okay.
Because we were at 4. weren't we?
Yeah, we're at 4,
Yeah,
and I
started
said we
at 4.
increased to 6. I think they're all generally seeing that, like, that was a lot of, or enough
Okay.
chickens, but,
Okay, so that was just kind of a,
Yeah.
raise it to this and it just moved on? It wasn't a big?
yeah,
Point, okay.
as I recall.
Was discussion as to how it related to the square footage,
Okay.
but there
Yeah,
was
the
not
size, yeah.
any desire to change it beyond 6.
Okay, okay, those are all my questions or comments.
Any other questions?
I do have
Go ahead.
a comment and maybe see if there's any input. Now that I have a better idea of how high these chickens can fly, so just looking at the, when it comes to the chicken coop run requirements, the letter F, because I remember we talked about having that space from the ground to like the floor of it. So we were at that one, we're at 9 inches. Sorry, maybe it's G, maybe, sorry.
No, F on page 3,
What is that?
right?
Yep. So then, in theory, it could
Si-
be 7 feet 9 inches to the top, which I'm comfortable with. I just, actually, I'm really open to anything. But I would want that to be reflected in the ordinance.
It doesn't bother me any.
I don't.
I mean, 7, 9.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
As is,
I think 7, what do you mean, at 7 or at 7, 9?
7 feet. So I think the idea of that is that the coop has to be above the ground. So I was researching this last night online, and it needs to be above ground so that there can be adequate ventilation, and when the inside gets wet, it doesn't stay wet for too long. But I don't. 7 feet.
For what it's worth, we measure height structure at midpoint of roof, so it's not the peak.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't know that I understand what that means. So you have
Could be
peak, but then you have
taller
here,
than
Yeah.
and so you measure from here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just
You good
wanted
with
to think of that scenario, and I didn't want us to have to come back if they ended up being taller than what we wanted the ordinance to be.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, so go to 7.
I reviewed this, I was, other than the change in the height, I thought they did a pretty good job buttoning this up, but incorporated the whole corner lot discussion, Christie, that you had brought up. I think everything is well-written, so I'm happy with it.
Reed?
Yeah, so I'm the planning commission, so I was at the meeting, and they literally went by line, so, I mean, they made some editorial recommendations and just a few questions about some of the sizing, we got that all buttoned up, so I feel comfortable with the ordinance as is with Christie's suggestion for the height increase.
Yeah, and just echoing, I think you guys know that I try to make it to at least one planning commission and one HBC meeting per year. The July meeting was the planning commission meeting that I went to. And we've got a phenomenal, rock star planning
Yeah, they
commission.
really
And,
should, yeah.
if you guys haven't watched their meetings, they're watching ours. So
Yeah,
we
they
should
really-
probably do them the courtesy of watching theirs so that we know what the conversation sounded like and how it evolved and how it started and how they got there and how they make these decisions. But Reed is right. They went line by line. Sherry Walsh gave a really good example of a not so great experience that she and her family had with a family next to them that had roosters, and they were cock-a-doodle-doing at all hours of the day, and she said unable to use their backyard. So I am glad that we are getting this done. I think that there's been a very pro-chicken sentiment amongst this council, so I'm happy that we're getting this done. So with that, I will make a motion approving ordinance 06-2024, amending the city code pertaining to keeping chickens in residential areas.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Johnson, and a second by Councilmember Mock. Any further discussion? Yes?
Do you want to, Mayor and Council, do you want to highlight those changes you want made?
Yes, I will make the motion approving. I think the only changes were to make 7 feet the height for both the coop and the run.
That's what I heard too, yes.
Okay. Good enough motion?
As long as the seconder is okay with it.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. No more further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I'll make a motion.
Passes. Motion passes. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion approving resolution 138-24, authorizing summary publication of ordinance 06-2024.
Got a motion by Councilmember Sarah
I'll second.
and a second by Councilmember Pershman. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, thank you. Bring on the chickens.
Yeah.
Communications.
I just have one thing, Mayor and Council. The Councilmember Pershman had mentioned that his iPad was kind of on the fritz, and I think some of you intermittently may have issues. Just wanted to check to make sure the iPad is still your technology hardware of choice. And there's different. We picked iPads probably a decade ago. There's Chromebooks, there's iPads, there's what have you, Surfaces. Do you want to continue with iPads? Do you want us to bring back some options? You don't all have to use the same thing. I just need some feedback on how you'd like us to move forward.
I'd say from a device management perspective, if you keep it the same, it's probably easier in the city, right?
We'll do anything that you need us to. And to please.
iPads were fine for me. I guess I don't,
Okay.
it's fine either way.
Yeah, I like having a touch thing, so I don't have to type when I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
So iPad,
I don't hear you.
iPad,
Yes,
yeah.
iPad.
told you.
Okay, let's see, Reed, communications.
Just two things. I'm sure Courtney will talk about I attended the groundbreaking for the new apartment complex with the CDA. Now I can't think of the name right now. Carver Place. There we go. So that was last Thursday, and then 2 weeks ago on Thursday, the Carver County Parks had their rescheduled grand opening for the Paradise Commons. So they had a little carnival, and the county parks did canoeing and archery, and then I was out there for that, and they had a climbing wall and stuff. So that was very well attended, and it seems like the new Paradise Commons rental is being very actively used by the community, so that's good news for the county perspective and the county parks. That's all I have.
Christie?
Citywide, so do we have an HPC meeting coming up next Tuesday? We do, okay. On the 10th, and then I think the only other thing I have right now is Steamboat Days, and that's about all I have right now in my head. So obviously that's coming up this weekend, 6 through 8. The festivities start Friday. You'll start seeing road closures happening on Friday morning, and then the main drag closes at 1:30. So city staff has been very helpful with everything, especially with signs and getting all of our things prepared down here, and turning off the water sprinkler system in Gazebo Park so that we don't have to run through there trying to shut it off in the middle of Steamboat Days. But no, it's great. Like I said, Public Works has been checking, talked with Rob's too, just about some technical issues and technical things that we have down here. So thanks for the city collaboration on that. We appreciate it. And have fun. The weather is going to be great, as almost always. Yeah, have fun. It'll be nice and cool. Sweatshirt weather.
Thank you. Lori?
No updates.
Eric?
Just a couple of things too. I also attended the CDA groundbreaking with Reed and Courtney. I'm super happy to see that project go forward. I think it says a lot that many years ago we had a lot of really concerned and upset citizens, and this time around, now that we have had that building in place, and it's been a great addition to the community, virtually no concern as this new one starts construction. From Southwest Transit, they shared that the State Fair and Renfest buses have been a huge success. It was the third largest utilization of Southwest Transit for the State Fair in its history. If it had not, they didn't provide service on Monday. So had they think it might have been the second largest. One other thing, though, from Southwest Transit is they are considering adding an additional non-voting board member, same capacity we have for the city of Victoria. So as Victoria expands into the Southwest Prime service, it makes sense for that. And that also led to some more discussion about the future of Victoria and Carver in Southwest Transit, and do we become when it makes sense for us to make decisions about if we're I forgot the term for it. Correct. Transit taxing district within Southwest Transit. So not today, but that discussion is moving forward. That's it.
All right, thank you. Just a shorter list from me this week. Last Monday, as you guys all know, if you were all in town, we had some pretty strong storms coming through. And there were a fair number of branches, one down on our street, and just a huge kudos to the public services team who were out and about as soon as it was safe to do so. I used to have a neighbor who works in the public services department, so Ben called it in, and neighbor had help getting it off the street that night. They came back the next day and it was taken care of. So huge kudos for everybody who helped work not only that night, but to the next day to make sure that everything was cleaned up. On August 27th, last Tuesday, it was the Back to School Bash at Community Park. If you missed it, you missed a really fun event. This year it was part vehicle fair, part farmers market, and part garage bands from Pioneer Ridge Middle School. And these kids are really, 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 really good. Like, they're looking for gigs, Christy, so I don't know if you've certainly not for this year, but I think it's something you should keep in mind for Steamboat Days 2025. So they're really, really good. So very cool collaboration, and cool to have something there for everybody. There's a bounce house. Like the gentleman already mentioned, we had the groundbreaking for Carver Place, 60 units of affordable housing. And as I said that day, not everybody needs, wants, or can afford a single-family house. So this 60-unit apartment building is helping us get closer to the goals of our strategic action plan and our housing plan. Also cool to point out that this is the first project which is benefiting from our connection fee waiver program, which was designed to be that carrot to help incent affordable housing. So just a few things looking forward. Tomorrow, I was a little coy at our last meeting about this, but tomorrow Hometown Bank and Mocha Monkey are opening. If and when you go into Hometown Bank, make sure you get somebody to show you the conference room that is in the lower level. It is absolutely the coolest thing that I have ever seen. And you guys are all scratching your head right now going, she's losing her mind, she's getting excited about a conference room. But Brent and Aaron and I went there, and it's pretty cool.
So the
Brent's
whole
looking like it's-
application is working, or is opening tomorrow? The whole thing?
Yep.
Coffee,
Tomorrow-
bank, everything?
Yes, everything is opening tomorrow at 7 for their first day in business. Going forward, Mocha Monkey, the drive-through isn't opening until like maybe 10 o'clock tomorrow, I think it is. I think it says, we got a direct mailer at our
Yeah, the
house, so I think it says. But then, going forward, Mocha Monkey will open earlier than the bank does. There's a separate entrance, and then there's like this glass wall that you kind of pull between the two spaces so that they're separated after hours when one business is open and the other one isn't. So, really, really cool. Check out the basement conference room. Super cool. And then Steamboat Days, I'll be having my mayor's office hours here on Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. So stop by, tell your neighbors to swing by and say hi. That is all I have. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A motion by
I'll
Councilmember
second.
Hawk, and a
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Welsh. Any further all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, good evening.